Pretty interesting day, but yet at the same time a very historic day when you look at as it compares to Louisiana Tech football in our history. Not only do we have the bowl game tonight, but we had this morning was signing day, where we had the opportunity to really significantly change the future of Louisiana Tech football when you look at the 13 signees that just signed national letter of intent and scholarship papers to Louisiana Tech. Could not be more proud of this staff and the tireless effort that they put into this process, which really is moving up faster and faster, which means that the summers have taken on a whole new meaning in recruiting, evaluations. When you look at these 13 signees, I think 9 of them have been committed during the summer, and I think this staff has done an unbelievable job just in building relationships and really selling themselves, this program and this university. I could thank every one of them individually for the job they did and the role they played. We do not recruit just by position. We do not recruit just by area, but we do a lot of tandem recruiting where we will send 2 and 3 coaches into a home. And I think these guys just did a great job of working together. Overall, when you break down the class, there's 13 signees in this class. Right now, we still have a couple letters out. This is a new process for everybody. There's some young men that are signing early, some young men that maybe have made the decision to wait until the second signing period, and there's a 3-day window where they have to sign. So we still have some scholarships out, so we're not real sure how it's going to finish up, but with where we are presently today, there's 13. There are 7 on defense and 6 on offense. There are 11 high school players. They come from winning programs. I think 11 of the 13 made the state playoffs. They come from a combined winning record of almost 80% success rate. You look at programs that are established, they're well coached, and I think that with these players coming in, they really have an opportunity to come in and make an impact. There are 7 from the state of Texas. When you talk about the Dallas-Fort Worth area and what role have 3 of the last 4 bowl games in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex meant to Louisiana Tech, 5 of these recruits, 5 of the 13 are from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, which is not only a huge population base, but is great football. This is the most we've been into this area since I've been here, and with 7 coming out of the state of Texas, I think these bowl games have gone a long way in branding the image of Louisiana Tech University in this area and the football program, and it's certainly making a difference, and we're seeing a return on that investment right now when you look at the image of Louisiana Tech and the style of football we play in this part of the country. I think 4 from the state of Louisiana, and then we have 1 from Arkansas and 1 from Mississippi with where we are right now. We will add more signees either over the next 2 days or when we get to the second signing date, which will be in February. We will add more signees, but right now, out of the 13 that we have, I think there's great balance in this class. There's a little bit of everything. When you look at, there's a very talented quarterback in this class, Aaron Allen, who I think has got a unique skill set in throwing the football that I think has an opportunity to have a bright future. There's 3 very talented wide receivers in this group. Is it 3 or 4? I think that we've gotten back 3 that we've gotten 3 that we've gotten back that are very talented players. There's 2 high school offensive linemen that are in this group, and then when you look at the immediate need in this group, there were 2 junior college linebackers. And that is where I think the most immediate need needed to be placed. Don't think we were near as productive at that position. We had some injuries. We really feel like we have some talented players there, but we needed some immediate help. And I think the 2 linebackers in Brandon Floyd and Trey Baldwin are 2. Trey Baldwin signed at Missouri out of high school, went to Missouri, then went back to junior college, and to be able to have him here in our program, he is that big thumper that you really need to play defense. He's the guy that you want to play as your Mike linebacker. He's 250 pounds. He's big, he's strong, he's aggressive, he runs. I think he's got an opportunity to make an immediate impact, as I do think Brandon Floyd, who not only signed, but right now he is already in classes. Was able to go through some of the bowl practices. Very talented, big, strong, physical, really anxious to work with him during the spring months, during the winter workouts, and during the spring months and I think he's got a chance to make an impact. When you look at losing Blankenship, Demarion King at that star position, as well as Russell Ferris inside, I think those two guys have an opportunity to step up. And then with Davon Washington playing the role he has at will, and with some of those underclassmen linebackers, I think the defensive staff really did a nice job of filling some immediate needs that we have at that position right now. There are a couple defensive backs in this class. I believe there's 3 defensive backs in this class, a couple safeties, and a corner. That, again, losing guys right now. You've got a senior in Cedric Cooper, who we're looking for guys like Jacorian Andrews, Jaden Cole, Colin Hurt, some of the guys we signed a year ago to help step into that, as well as Jordan Baldwin. But there's also some young players that I think in B.J. Williamson that are some very talented players that I think really have an opportunity to make an impact. Are there any questions that are in the group that I could answer? I could sit here and talk about this class for a long time, and Broderick Calhoun, and go through each one individually, but are there any overall questions that I could answer?
Are all of these guys enrolling early?
No. Under the new signing date rules, they can sign now. And somebody said, well, what's the advantage of signing? Why don't you just wait till February? The advantage of signing is once you sign, the rules change. You then become a signee and you're no longer a recruit. We can begin to distribute playbooks. Their workout programs. They can start getting ready for college. And so many of these student athletes want to play early now. I mean, that's the thing you hear in recruiting. Coach, well, I have an opportunity to play early. And you see a guy like Amik Robertson come in as a true freshman and make the impact that he has made. It's what so many of them want to do. So by signing early in December, we can start getting them the playbook. All of a sudden, you have an opportunity to visit with them with cut-ups, where they can watch film, things like that to get them more prepared. Most of these young men will continue to finish high school, and then they will enroll in the summer and come in as a traditional signing class has done in the past. I do think this early signing date is a good thing. I know there's been a lot of, I won't say controversy, but a lot of banter back and forth. But I think when you look at 9 of these 13 young men have been committed since the summer. This is where they want to go. This is what they want to do. They're done with the recruiting process. They want to be able to sign the papers. Parents want to be able to say, my son's future is secure. He has a scholarship. He's going to have the opportunity to go compete and play college football. Let's enjoy Christmas. We know what we're doing, and let's end this recruiting process. So for a lot of the young men that know what they want to do, I think this is a great thing. And for those young men that are still unsure, they don't have to sign in December. They can wait until the February signing date. And I think you're going to see a little mixture of both. I think it's going to be very interesting with this being year 1 to see what life after the December signing date is like, how many schools are still recruiting seniors and how many of them have now moved on to start recruiting for next year's class. And I think it's even going to speed up the process where you're going to see it happen earlier and earlier. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to play out. That's why in year 1, I certainly didn't want to be done at this point, because I think there's going to be some very talented players available. You just don't know if they're going to get scooped up in a hurry by everybody trying to recruit a smaller base at that point, or if a lot of people are going to be done and start moving on. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to work out as we move forward with recruiting.
Maurice Wren seems like he could be a game changer for you guys. What do you guys see out of him?
Maurice Wren, he's big, he's athletic. He's a rare combination. When you look at guys that that have his size, speed, and athleticism and ball skills, but yet he doubles. Most receivers play corner, safety. He doubles as a defensive end, which tells you a little bit about his toughness, his mindset, and the way that he plays the game. I think Maurice Wren has a chance. When you take a guy like a Maurice Wren, you add Wayne Toussaint into that group. When you look at a quarterback like Aaron Allen, I think there's some very, very talented young players. And with the youth that we have at wide receiver right now and some of those guys that are cutting their teeth, I think a guy like Maurice Wren is going to come in and he's definitely going to push some players that are already here, definitely for playing time, because he does have a very unique skill set.
Kind of a crazy day. How have you kind of juggled, obviously the bowl game today and signing day?
It has been crazy. It's been crazy in that the staff was down here at 7 o'clock in the morning. The text messages, it all started rolling in the process, and it was a very don't want to say complicated, but it was a very coordinated effort. Our sports information office, as well as our compliance office back in Ruston, with our war room here in the Dallas area. You have the staff down there. It's completely different now. You walk in there and there's 10 laptops and banging away, and graphics and the releases on Twitter, and everything's getting released and put out, and the sizzle and the hot and the news. It is definitely a coordinated effort. You look at the coaches are the ones that maybe are out on the road recruiting and building these relationships, but it certainly takes a village to pull off today what we pulled off, especially at a bowl site where you're pretty much making a new war room for the day. So that process went from about 7 to 10:30 this morning, really continued on a little bit more than that. At 10:30, our players came down. We started our brunch, our walkthrough meetings, our special team meetings, our OD walkthroughs, started doing a lot of that, and then have really had an opportunity here for a couple hours this afternoon maybe to catch our breath before we have our pregame meal here at 3:30. So it has definitely been a busy day. I know that normally on signing day, on that Wednesday in February, boy, you go home and you sleep like a baby. You know, you're just exhausted from a very emotional day and what leads up to it. And talking to these young men almost every day, twice a day, everything good, here's what you got to do, making sure that everybody's on the same page with the process so you have very few surprises on signing day. But it is a tireless effort and comes at a very long, hard season. So I think everybody's ready to say, wow, let's go get some sleep. Oh, by the way, we have a football game tonight. We are going to play in the DXL Frisco Bowl tonight against SMU. And so I think everybody started kind of changing gears at about 10:30 to 12 o'clock to really start more into game mode, finishing game plan preparations, game plan printing, you know, getting all that type of stuff done for the game tonight.
Anything else?
The Senior Bowl is a month away. I was just wondering for your thoughts to fans, to scouts on what they can expect to see from your class of players.
Well, I think when you look at this group of seniors, we have a very small group of seniors. You look at the last couple years, we've been very blessed to have, I think, 3 players in the Senior Bowl the last 2 years, a number of players at the Combine, and I believe it's been 11 players drafted in the last, or 11 players that have made a roster in the last 2 years, which is an incredible number. When you look at Xavier Woods starting for the Dallas Cowboys, Trent Taylor starting for the 49ers, Darryl Brown's with the Seahawks, Carlos Henderson is with Denver. But you look at the impact that a guy like Trent Taylor and Xavier Woods are having right now as rookies in the NFL. We've had a lot of success here. We have a much smaller class this year. I do believe there's a handful of players that are going to have an opportunity to get a look, that are going to have an opportunity to get into a camp and make it. Where they're going to fall in the draft war rooms, I don't know at this point, but I think the next couple months are going to be, well, I think tonight's going to go a long way in helping their future, but I also think the next couple months of their training is going to go a long way as well. There's a number of people in that class. When I look at Cedric Cooper as a safety who has started the last couple years, really done a nice job for us, and the 2 running backs, Jared Kraft and Boston Scott, who both have been very explosive players for us here over the last couple years. But I think those 3 definitely are going to have an opportunity, and I do believe there's a couple others. When I look at a Deldrick Canty and I look at Joshua Outlaw and a couple of those other players, I think a number of them are going to get a look.
All right.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.